Hi, my name is Cristina and I'm from Romania. For those who know, I'm supposed to be holding a seminar on curriculum development for high school debaters, but I'm mostly going to focus on ninth graders because I believe that after you've finished with them, that's how you decide what kind of curriculum you need to do for the rest of the grades. So basically, I think that curriculum development it's different for the kind of debating you do in your specific country or in your specific club. Like, it depends on what the problems in your country are, like what kind of motions do you give at your national competitions, what topics do you want to focus on. So basically, I'm going to explain why we did curriculum development in my club and how it works in Romania. So in order for you to have like a parallel to, take when you talk about your specific country. Like, debating in Romania works like this. Like, there's a big national organization called Ardor. Like, it's the national associations of debating, oratory, and thinking. So in this specific national region, there are other 6 regions in Romania. Like, we have Banat here, with Dragoș is from Banat, and Banat is like this part, right? Something like that. There's Transylvania with, Dracula and stuff like that. This is like a questionable region of Moldova that also participate in the national organization, but also participate in their own competitions. There's Muntenia, and there are other 2 regions. Here we also have another one from a specific city from Iași that have a lot of clubs and joint competitions. And in Muntenia, there's also 2 little regions that are in the same city and try to conquer it all. I'm from one of the small ones. So we have the 6 regions that are mostly focused on high school debating. University debating, on the other hand, is not very developed. We all have only 2 big university cities in Transylvania and in Bucharest. So it's not that developed right now, but we're making progress. Good. How do you get people to join a debating club? How do you do that in your countries? Like, how do you do it in Poland?
We have only a few high schools where we have debates, and these are high schools where from we got graduates in the university clubs. So it was just by the connections with our previous teachers. So I don't really know how to get to the high school.
How do you do it in Estonia?
There are like different ways. I think we have a school system that includes debating in some circumstances. So kids like come from there, and also with schools who have debating clubs or both debating clubs, then they mainly do promotional work so that they get to come to clubs, doing class to class, talking to children.
Yeah. How about Moldova?
Yeah, it seemed like going, like knocking on door to door, making promotion, like saving the debates as well.
For example, in Romania, we don't have teachers involving that much in debating. Mostly are college students, university students that have been debating and are from that specific city. And we just make a demo debate where we invite the children from different classrooms and some teachers, and we invite them to watch that demo debate, and then we invite them to our opening ceremony and then to the interviews. So that's exactly how we get them to join. We ask them, we tell them how cool debating is, we tell them what you learn and what you can learn by being a part of it. Welcome. So next, how did it work until now? Because in my club, we didn't have a curriculum until now. So it basically worked on, we gathered a lot of like 100 9th graders, 100 people that were 14 years old, and a few trainers that assist us to different classrooms. And we had our beginners training, like teaching us how to build arguments, how to make cases, how to hold a speech, and so on and so forth. And afterwards, we just debated. if a competition was coming, then we debated on those motions. There was no curriculum, we didn't have homework. It was a bit disorganized, and it was a bit problematic because at the end of our 4 years, we knew the motions from the competitions we participated in, but nothing more. Like if we went to national competitions or international competitions, we were prepping for that, and that was our preparation as trainers. And I, for example, as a trainer, found that a bit problematic because of the outcome we expected. Like my trainers expected the outcome of winning a lot of matches and winning a lot of competitions. But I, as a person, don't really believe that debate is about winning or being a trainer that won a lot of stuff. I believe that debating should be about creating well-rounded debaters in the beginning that afterwards begin to win and begin to be good trainers. Now, I believe that well-rounded debaters only come up when you are organized in delivering information or making them think and making them understand what debating is about. And that's how you make them win competitions on their own, and not by helping them build cases and helping them win. So this is why we wanted to avoid this problem of disorganization and try to have a curriculum. So I believe that this is why there's an importance when building a curriculum. So when I had to give this workshop, I Googled curriculum development, and I found that even when you're talking about developing a curriculum in school, like for maths or for science, there are a few steps you need to take. And there are 6 steps. Now, the first one is identifying the problem. Now, I believe that a problem differs from one country to another, and I'm going to talk specifically about the problems we have in Romania now, and why we believe that debate has this specific cause and goal bigger than just having some fun and winning some competitions, like the thing above debate. Now, we believe that first of all, we need to develop a critical thinking and civic sense and making kids understand democracy. Like, Romania is a country that is still transitory. Like we're still going to get democracy. We're still a democratic country, but we still have enough problems that we need to fix. And the problem with the educational system is that they don't really teach us how to involve in the democratic process, how to involve into listening to public debates or to understand, you know, the basic arguments, like economic arguments that you have when two politicians fight. Like everything is downgraded just to, I don't know, perverted politics. Now, we believe that debate can change that. Like we're trying to make debate more public, more in the eye of the media, more in the eyes of politicians and people that have like influence. So this is why we want debating to create people that are very critical and very democratic and want to get involved into changing something. So this is our goal in the end. It's not just having smart people that can be trainers, but smart people that can get involved in the community. Second of all, another problem is debate problems. That we don't have that much continuity and consistency overall. There are only like the 10% of the people that actually loved and enjoyed debate that actually continue doing it. Now, the problem is that the rest of the, let's say, 90 people from a club that start debating quit in the 11th or 12th grade and don't continue it. So we have a problem with manpower. In my club, for example, and I know for a fact that this happens in most of the clubs, like you need to make people stick to debating, and I believe that a curriculum can help you build that, especially if you introduce, like in a calendar, what kind of social activities you want to make, what kind of games for a specific topic you want to play with these kids. Second of all, more international involvement. Like we have a lot of international involvement. We go to international competitions, we participate, we do pretty good, we lose, you lose some, you win some, you know. But there can always be more international involvement, like more international competitions in Romania. We just had the first BP international competitions in Transylvania. We could have that all over Romania. I mean, there's always improvement that you can have. But there are also debate problems in the individual club, like policy implementation. Like how do we implement this curriculum in order for it to be sustainable over the years? Like you need to assess the needs of your debaters in order for you to have continuity. So yeah, basically these are the problems that we can solve by having a curriculum. So how do we solve it? Now overall, we believe that you need long-term consequences of debating. Like explaining to the kids that you can debate and you can have this on the long term and present to them what exactly they want. Second of all, when it comes to national debate problems, I believe that each and every individual club, like it doesn't matter if you have one team or two teams, is like the motto that you should be the change you want to see in the world. Like if you want to implement something in your club, you need to advocate for it in order for other clubs to follow your, your steps or your measures, or have some kind of debate of what you want to do in your national debate association. And maybe you have a national curriculum in order for it to be perpetuated in schools, for teachers to understand, for parents to like. And I'm going to tackle that later. Okay. The second step was assessing the needs. Like a curriculum should cater to the needs of the soon-to-be debaters, so we need to know them better. So the way we do that is by selecting them through interviews. Like when we have interviews, we try to make it fun and not like a job interview because they're 14 and they don't really understand what is going on. So we try to understand what kind of books they like to read, what kind of topics they're interested in, what kind of hobbies do they have, and what they want to achieve through debating. Like, do they want, some of them want not to be that shy anymore. Some of them want to fight with their parents better. Like, you need to know each and every individual aspect in order to be able to develop a curriculum that won't bore them to death. Like, keep them interested, make them seem like this is something fun. So, this is why we make interviews. Like, we can't have enormous amount of children joining the debating club because we don't have that much trainers in order for us to cater to their needs. And this is why, even if we find out like they're professional basketball players, that won't go very well with debating, because if they love basketball playing that much, they won't really go to the debate meetings or competitions because they have their time dedicated already. So those are the people that won't probably make it to the debate club. But the others, we have a list, we make a list, we write down what they like, and then we develop a curriculum after we talk it through with the rest of the trainers. When it comes to the rest of the grades, when we need to develop a curriculum for them, we first need to assess what they understood from their first year of debating and what they understood from the competitions they've been to. So this is why we quiz them. Like, not specifically as a test, but on our Facebook group, we put up a bunch of links and then we question them and they're obliged to answer the questions. And this is how we understand what they know and what they don't. We also make them debate in order to see what specific technicalities they didn't get, in order for us to focus on that more. And we also make them present different topics, like problems in Palestine and Israel. We'll present that, make us understand. Or problems of austerity in the European Union. And if we see that they didn't grasp the notion that well, we make another training where we make another debate or another session where we need to explain it more. We introduce it into curriculum, and we have a specific meeting on that issue. Moreover, you need to develop goals and learning objectives. Like, for example, what do you want to gain after you finish your debate career? So this is when I made an exercise with the kids in my specific group, where I asked them, what do you think makes a perfect debater? What do you think makes a whole debater? And there were a lot of things like having style, knowing and knowledge about economics, about history, about business, about technology. And when you get that assessment, especially from the more experienced debaters, of what they want to know, then this is what the moment when you can develop a curriculum by simply taking all of these issues. Like, I want to know more about history, economics, and politics. So this is why you're going to have a 30-minute workshop in the beginning of a debate meeting where we're going to talk a bit about politics in, in USA or in Australia or in different parts of Africa. And this is how you gain more knowledge. After that, you give them homework in order for them to present a piece of news or a piece of evidence for the next week. Also, when it comes to debate technicalities, I feel that a lot of debaters don't actually get the technicalities until they're more experienced. So there are a lot of debaters that told me that they don't get that part of framing better. How should I deliver things in order for people to be more, I don't know, interested in what I say? So what we did in the curriculum is having a framing workshop of 15 or 20 minutes, like really short, in order to entertain them. And we also gave them a lot of music videos or music lyrics for them to read or music to listen to, like Guns N' Roses' Civil War, which portrays and makes a good framing for the casualties in the Civil War and how it actually works. But the biggest problem here is that when you develop goals and learning objectives, not everything gets done with homework because they're kids and they don't do their homework. So how do you convince them to do their homework? Now, the best way for us was making them not feel bad, but making them see the consequences when they're in a debate, in an impromptu debate, and they have a motion and that specific homework that I gave them, and they won't know shit about it. And that's the moment when, you know, they're gonna look at you and say, okay, maybe I will start doing my homework. But they won't read that many articles. So again, when it comes to knowledge, it's best for them to watch a documentary on, for example, on Vsauce on YouTube. If you know Vsauce, it's a really cool channel with a lot of did you knows, or BBC Knowledge, or stuff like that. They are very short and will keep them interested, like RSA Animate, that will give them the knowledge they need and explanation that they can understand. Moreover, the whole debater stuff also goes on style and experience. So experience, you build it through years, but each and every curriculum, like every year, after you assess it, needs to tackle each and every point of this. Like, I'm going to give an example at the end, and we're going to try to build a curriculum like for 9th graders, 10th graders, and so on. So I want to hear your opinions. The, I think, third or fourth step is developing a strategy. Like, how do you want them to be able to learn? How do you want to implement a curriculum? So what do you think is the best learning strategy? Like, I want your opinions on this. Like, this is a discussion point.
You meaning the best strategy, for example, for a student who doesn't know nothing in debates, and you're starting initiating him?
Yeah, for example.
Well, guessing on the points you have, point of knowledge, debate, technicality, style, experience, we should achieve what's the most important and what's the first to start. So that's why I say it's knowledge, the first one thing. You have put emotion, get the knowledge of them, and then try to debate.
Okay.
In Spain, we start by style because it's the part that is easier to achieve, and then they can lose their fear to talk in public, and then start giving grades, games.
I overall think that like really easy answers to that question, I think, is debating, in the sense that like debate a lot, especially at the beginning, because I think that it's important for them to feel of it, to understand that even if I hear that knowledge, how to identify in the context. Like if I hear, if I watch a documentary, like you said, how do I, like, what should I remember, or what am I probably going to need for them to overall understand, like, how it works.
Yeah, I feel that debating also helps a lot, like actually understand what you just read in an article or what you just saw in a documentary. But I think, like, on the long term, you need to have a more like holistic view on how to gain more knowledge and how to be a better debater. So, for example, we developed the debating meetings of like 2 hours or 2 hours and a half, where we first have the part where the kids present the latest news, like they're obliged to watch BBC or CNN and bring some piece of news, like, okay, thanks, like from the Middle East. They have to bring one specific news from each area, like when you go to BBC and they have that menu, like from the Middle East, from Africa, and so on and so forth. And these are 15 minutes in a debating session where they need to discuss what they heard in the news. That will help them in impromptu motions, that will help them in, talking to other people, to more experienced debaters, and so on. Then there's the part where they present the homework that they have. So the homework differs from one part to another. Like if we have more experienced debaters, they're most probably going to have to present in 2 minutes an interesting article they read on, let's say, on North Korea or on China or on developing economies, the BRICS, or so on and so forth. So we have here a part designed specifically for presenting their homework, because presenting what you know, it's exactly as in debating. If I make an argument and I present it to you, I will understand it better while I'm presenting it. And because I'm trying to make you understand. And this is why we make this exercise with them, in order for them to understand the homework that they had. Moreover, that depends, it's not weekly but monthly, let's say, where we have a training on a specific issue, like on feminism or on civil rights movement and LGBT community and so on, which also takes a few minutes, like 20-30 minutes, and then we discuss about it. And most of the times it's related to the topic they are going to debate on next. So there's like a 5-minute break here where they, I don't know, have a coffee or something, they talk about it a little bit, they have some fun, and after that we debate. So basically I'm all up for debate as much as you can, but the problem is that in the end, the only ones that will end up with having something to gain from are the debaters who are really good. So the kids that don't really take the time to read or to research or to understand things from debating will develop less, holistic than less good than the rest of the debaters. So we try to cater even for the debaters that are not so good, like naturally, that not natural speakers or public speakers. So this is what we try to do in order to cater to all the needs. Because, for example, I know a kid, he's 14 years old, he's very shy. He's very, very incredibly smart, like he knows a lot of things, but I've seen him debate and he doesn't do that well.